Thanks for staying with us. A story broke out about a lawyer and human rights activist, Professor Zainab Abiola, who beat up her orderly inspector, Teju Moses, over her refusal to do house chores. She has since been arrested by the police. We'd like to hear your thoughts on how the woman of that caliber dehumanized her fellow woman to the point where she got she was found in the pool of her own blood. Wow. How do we get to this stage? And I'd like to read a response by the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, on Thursday, directed an express prosecution of the arrested suspects who are in police custody. According to him, the preliminary investigation showed an overwhelming evidence of culpability on the part of the professor and her domestic staff. Also, the CSP Muiwa, the force PRO, CSP Muiwa Adejabi, also explained that the IG has strongly condemned the grievous assault of a female police officer and obviously has asked for an investigation. So, as of now, we know that the story actually did happen. The human rights activist and lawyer got her help, one other person, to beat up the police officer because she did not do her chores. The video is rather disturbing because we see the video of the policewoman sitting on the floor, and quite a number of people were trying to see what was going on. But the situation now brings us to the conversation of how we've directed that many of these VIPs that have those police officers, many of them, we thought they had actually stopped this and they've retracted. That's one. Secondly, somebody who is supposed to be a human rights activist, how would she have allowed this to happen? We don't know the circumstances of which this happened because we can say over the top of our head that no matter what happens,
whatever circumstance,
until we hear the other side of the story, we should be careful to judge. However, what we see is a bloodied police officer on the floor, and the fact that the IG has ordered an investigation. What are your thoughts on this? So you can call us on 081-270-53687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. We know there's no justification for this, but it's always important for us to hear all the sides to know exactly what happened. What could have entered the mind of a human rights activist and a professor to do this kind of thing? There's something else happening here that were not clear. That's how I feel. But what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Nima?
Okay. So let me quickly just come from the IG statement. So the IG said, let me read it quickly. The IG, Usman Baba, has strongly condemned the grievous assault of a female police officer, Inspector Teju Moses, by her principal, who is a legal practitioner, and human rights activist, Professor Zainab Duke Abiola, and her domestic staff comprising of housemaid, one Rebecca Enechido, and another male currently at large. Then he went further and said, Zainab Duke, an Mbaise-born activist, grievously assaulted her oddly. I think they were trying to put sentiments inside this thing. They're just trying to...
mentioning tribe and all that.
That's the only thing.
Oh, really?
Yes, because
that's your own understanding of it. Doesn't mean that's
what
you
being
tell us.
assaulted another human being.
Simple.
Whether uniform or no uniform. It's because we are colorizing all this. That's why we don't know what is crime and what is not crime. The other day, the PRO of the police officer had Mr. Falan SAN warning him to withdraw a statement saying that police officers can slap you.
Right to slap.
We need to know what assault is and how it is and make it a crime, irrespective of personality, class, tribe, ethnic
group, religion.
And so in that way, we can clearly deal with it.
Yeah.
Once we say it is not allowed for a certain group of people and allowed for a certain group, we are confusing ourselves. All of us thought till now that they don't have orderlies attached to anybody. In my widest imagination, I could never have thought that an activist had an orderly attached to her. So I will be shocked if Aisha Yusufu tomorrow now has an orderly attached to her. I go shocked, because what I grew up knowing is that maybe for certain offices and maybe magistrates and justices, you have orderlies. But after that, I don't know. I'm just finding out that professor.
Ordinary.
Professor.
I say people like I know somebody who I don't know what I was just wondering on what basis do you have an orderly? She has an orderly. I won't mention her name, but I say
which work are you doing?
People when I go to sites, they're always asking me, How can you be going to your site and you don't have police orderly?
You see,
That's for you
what
to
we are
know how
saying.
we have watered down
Thank you.
this
So,
institution.
professors now, who is supposed to be a member of us, Abodly. This life. When the drama, the film,
You don't know where our professor came from.
the second season started to play out. The professor now forget that she's an activist lawyer that's
She might not
supposed
be a
to
member
know
of us.
right.
She's a professor in the US. She doesn't have to be a member of us.
He got to
A different
abuse
professor.
rights that
Calming
she's
down.
supposed to know.
Anything she is, she now forgot that she's a human being. An activist, somebody who should be aware of human rights, and ask somebody to beat up another somebody, to assault. Well, it's because of all these titles that we are confused here. What is clear to me is that they beat somebody.
Okay, she have added.
And she should
and
be
they have
have to
added
pay
last.
for
Let
it.
me come to somebody
Yes,
else.
they have to pay for it. But
Maybe I should have started last.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She's good, and I agree 100% with her. So it's just unfortunate that people who are expected to know more don't do better. So we get knowledge because we want to do better as human beings. We keep improving, we keep studying, we have these certificates. You are a doctor now, you are this, you are that. Everything is just happening. We are expected with that amount of knowledge that is coming, that there will be a form of transformation happening within, so that that knowledge is used properly and people can say, this person is actually a living example of the titles that we give to her or him. Before they say, I'm always talking about women. But unfortunately, that's not what happens. So you see all of those people who are supposed to know the right things to do, not do the right thing. Because there's a certain class, there's a certain mindset that I can do this and get away with it. I have the wherewithal. Nobody can question me. We need to begin to question people. We need to begin to call crime what it is. Like Nima had just said, crime is crime. Irrespective of your class, your ethnicity, your religion, crime is crime. You commit a crime, you do the time. You need to be ready for that. Now, how do you know, we used to say women supporting women. How do you sit down and no matter, even if she entered your room and stole, why don't you just take her to the appropriate authorities to deal with her? How do you sit down and watch a fellow woman being brutalized like that, whether you're the one that brutalized or is somebody you call to brutalize? How do you do that, knowing that first you are a woman? You should even show more empathy. You should understand more because you are of the same sex. How do you? Okay, leave the certifications right now. How do you not become a human being?
Yeah, I get that. Well, so let's talk about this social class thing. And I come to you, talk about, because people always have, because you can take a man out of the ghetto, you can't take the ghetto out of the man. So it's inherent in you that certain people are beneath you, or certain people are just, they're your orderly, they're your domestic, you order them around. Even when you become the professor, become the rich person, even as a poor person, you feel that, you still have that same mindset.
They do.
But it's amplified when you now become a professor, when you now become wealthier. So you can now say, no, you're just an orderly, please beat her up for me. That was you did. It's that class system that we have in us. Because it's easy for us to judge now because we are seeing this. But many of us, we are that professor in different ways. Many of us treat others as if, oh, I am so much better than you. I have more achieved. I have exposure. I have traveled the world. I'm a professor. I'm richer than you. And I can do with you whatever I choose. We do it. Unless we want to pretend as if we don't. Many Nigerians in this country do that.
So that's why. So there's this statement. God has given us opportunity to, given us the order to dominate. So God says you should dominate every creature, but not any human being. So you are not meant to dominate another human being. You are meant to lead, and leadership is by influence. But what we have here is rulership and authority figures. So people become powerful so they can dominate over other people. I'm a police officer, I have this uniform, I have a gun, I will go one way, I will dominate you, I will kill you, nothing would happen. We are the ones in power, the person in power. When it was in the southeast, everybody in Abuja was wearing the Delta hat. We are the ones in power. Now there's another region in power. We are the ones in power. You cannot do anything. We know the president. The governor and I were eating breakfast together yesterday. I will call the governor. I will speak to this person. We have a culture that lords a bit of influence and power over everybody that does not have.
Yeah.
So everybody is oppressing the next person. And that is what we see display here. Simple. So this woman might be a human rights activist. She might be speaking English on every TV station and writing articles every day. But in her heart, she's still an oppressor who is in her own way oppressing the one within our power. I feel so bad. Even in addition, we should be blaming the people that carried out the order. Because Yoruba says, that means if they sent you a message like a slave, you will deliver it like a free man. So you have a colleague in your house that people work together, obviously, and then your madam says, beat her up, and then you started beating up the
If the madam is paying your bill,
Wait. Don't lose this topic. Don't vex. Talk about reach where we are going. I beg, what behavior, what carrying, what dignity did the police officer carry herself that they ask her to do house chores?
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Maybe, I'm just saying, inside the house, you come, if you are ugly, you are supposed to do your work, but
and mind your business.
You don't give me food. 2 meats. Let's see madam talk. You are already up, not being. You are not carrying yourself with your official class that you should carry yourself. Your work is security, but you see her now. They beat her so that she sat down.
On the floor.
This is not funny. I looked at that video differently. She was saying, give me water. Water inside the video. I was like, what is happening here? What's this
She
drama?
must have also lauded her own position over others.
Not herself.
She may have.
She said that she carried herself without dignity. Enough for police, for whoever attaché or attacher, which one? Whoever the professor was to feel that slap her. Or you call her.
Deal with her.
If she comes officially for a police duty,
carries her bag,
her work, carry her girl, and she's calling her superiors at the station. I'm doing my work, and when she closes, she takes orders. She goes back.
She respected herself.
But if you come, you carry, madam. Today, say, madam is going. You have carry bag. You are Poshua.
Okay, let me go.
You carry yourself like a housemaid now.
So that's another angle.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's another angle. So
I agree.
Let's go on a quick program. We come back. We'll open our phone line. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So to continue the conversation, we have Daniel has been holding for a while. Good morning, Daniel. Are you there? Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Daniel.
We lost her.
He really wanted to talk on the show. All right. So we're still discussing this matter. Bisi, you wanted to say something?
Yes. So I like the fact that Nima highlighted that if you disrespect yourself, that's what will follow you. Anywhere you go to, whether you have a job, you're working with people, you're helping people out, is how you present yourself. That's what would determine how they would treat you. And this one is just a clear case of how the Nigerian government has presented the police. Everybody can have access to a policeman. Once you just have money now, you can get them, they work for you, you talk to them anyhow, you treat them anyhow. The typical Nigerian man now does not have respect. When I mean man, when I say man, is man and woman, does not have respect for a police officer because how much are they earning? I can pay you, I can pay your salary, I can do this, I can do that. The government needs to do more to help these people. That's one. Secondly, no matter how somebody presents him or herself to you, as a human being, there's a treatment you cannot give to your dog that you will not give to that person. No matter how, I've worked with people who, I didn't like how they went about the work. The eye service was just too much. They will carry back, they will gist this, they will do. After a while, I'm like, oh God, we can't do this anymore. I'm really not comfortable with how I don't like people who are like this. And I let you go. I don't have to start treating you as if you're a dog just because you have presented yourself in a certain way. That's the way they craze. May they tell and say they craze so that I could get help. The woman in question who will allow another human being be treated that way should be taken to where she would get treatment. Right. How you treat people is how you think about yourself, first of all. She has underlying issues in herself that she needs to deal with. And we need to start having this mental health conversation as often as a lot of people are not well. Morayo, a lot of people are mad. We're Lasho. Abi, how did they call this?
Let me take this call. Ihe, are you there? Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
You're live.
I love your program. God bless you people.
Thank you, sir.
For bringing up this kind of issues.
Thank you, sir.
Please, hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. That kind of the professor should be treated. Let me not use this foul language. She's, I take her to be an animal. For meeting that kind of treatment to that police woman, she should be treated as such. And please, I would love your team to take it up to the logical conclusion.
All right. You see, I don't, I'll come to you, Tokwe. The reason why I always object to this kind of condemnation is not because I don't agree to it, but it's because I feel that many of us are hypocritical. We live in the same country where people do these things in different degrees.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like this one person that we don't catch now. Everybody's not saying, hey, she's the one, this, that, because this is somebody's mother, this is somebody's wife, this is somebody's, so she's also a respectable person. But yes, she's done something disrespectful, absolutely, and should be condemned. But I like to believe that we should all also take this as a learning to us, because as you're pointing one finger at this woman, we're pointing forward at ourselves. Many of us do this in different degrees, and we should now make her look like, oh, she's such a bad person, she should be treated or something like that. Also, in addition to that, Tokwe, do you think that there's also that, could she have done something to respect the office? If you don't respect the person, that uniform itself, how do we begin to respect that office? So if you look at the man, as scruffy looking, I can pay your salary, I can this. If you look at policemen like that in your own view, but that uniform they are wearing, can Nigerians begin to respect the uniform? Maybe you don't respect the person.
So, to answer your question, I believe that the Nigerian police force needs to do a whole lot more to represent themselves right. I have made a decision. Respect is a decision. I don't treat police people, I don't treat a policeman with disrespect, because I respect myself and I respect the institution. But it is a decision. It wasn't easy, because sometimes I see them and I'm like, don't do this to yourself. Don't. Respect yourself. And sometimes their character makes you want to disrespect them because of the way they are behaving. So every Nigerian needs to make that decision that regardless of how anybody behaves, I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated. I'm going to respect you. But I mentioned something earlier and everybody was looking at me like, he's paying you. The fact that you're paying me does not mean you own me. You can pay my salary, but you don't own my life. Your money does not take away my ability to make my decisions. So because somebody is paying me now tells me, kneel down, raise up your hand, close your hand, and I will kneel down. Lie. I won't, and I know I won't, and I believe people should get to that point where they say, because you're feeding me doesn't mean you will disrespect me or make me do something that is wrong. So inherently, those two people that beat up that police officer themselves have issues. There might be more to the story that we don't know about. Maybe they already have personal drama, but I don't believe that we should just take orders blindly. We're not in a military. I'm not a military officer. I can't work in a military because I cannot just, you can't just tell me, obey before complain, continue like that. Even my children ask me questions, and I believe it is important that I explain it to them. No human being should be saying, they told me to beat, so I beat. You should be able to make a decision by yourself, even if you are being paid.
All right. Before we, just a moment, we'll be signing out of TVC News Nigeria now, because we have to move on to Port Harcourt. We hear that Governor Wike of Rivers State will be having a media chat, and you can continue watching the show online or on terrestrial stations. So we'll be yanked off in a few moments. That's on TVC News. Right, I think I'm told I have Hassan. Hassan, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Morayo.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, let us have one thing at the back of our mindset, that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
A true test of human beings. True test of human beings are two things, money and power.
Simple.
For you to get to know the real attitude of a person, give him one of these two things.
I'm telling you.
Forget about activists. Activists, most of them make noise to get there. And when they go into the power, they come out dirty. It's very clear in Nigeria about that. And when you look at this issue of power, power is not for everybody. Power is meant for people that are humble with the power. Power is meant for people that take power with pinch of the sword, with a sense of responsibility. Most of the people that go to power, they don't have what it takes to be in that power. And we only think it's a general view among all of us that anybody can be in power. You see this woman, you see, she demonstrated the kind of person she is. Go to the union, see how they behave. Go to all these people that make noise, how they behave. Go into their personal lifestyle.
Exactly.
You get to see that they are not what they present to the people to see. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Hassan.
Thank you.
So I was saying that all those that carry placard, I don't want to mention their organizations now, all those five, all the NLCs, the MAA, we're not saying that's who they are, but you see, we are all Nigerians, and there are different parts of our culture that these things have come into us, and we must all learn, take a learning from this professor's
You know, you
mistakes.
mentioned, quickly, I just wanted to happen, so before I forget it, you mentioned that it's not like we're here to judge. You know, we're not judging her specifically because most of us do almost the same thing. The mere fact that we have an opinion on anything, that's the meaning of judgment. We're already judging. So when your matter comes out, the public will pass their opinion. That is judgment. That's the meaning of judgment, and everybody is a judge. However, in judging, you will also look at yourself and ask yourself questions. Am I doing the same thing? Is there any way that I can change from it? But to say that, let's try as much as... We need to be very careful so that it doesn't seem like we are excusing some people because they are dignitaries from some things and allowing others to do the same things. So if a matter tables and it blows, your matter blow, everybody will have a say on that matter, and people that need to learn will learn from that matter. But to say, let's be careful how we say it so it will not look as if we're judging. Everybody is a judge. There's nothing we can do about that. I just wanted to put that out there.
It's also important that we look into the training that, you know, the Nigerian police start to give their people now, their members or staff now. Because sometimes when I once saw a police officer in front of Lasso, I could not believe my eyes. His buttons were everywhere. He was, you know, obviously drunk.
I've seen that.
Pointing a gun at me, shouting at the top of his voice. But because I had what they call their provost number at the time, I said, okay, I'd like us, you are, just wait. Madam, who are you calling? I said, don't worry. And I called, I said, I'm looking at a police officer now. I don't think he's a member of your team, but he's wearing a uniform. Because I couldn't even see his name. But once the colleagues noticed that I was speaking to somebody, they took the phone, they spoke, and they apologized for his behavior. They were trying to call him to order. He was just everywhere. If such a person was attached to a professor or whatever, how do you think the professor would see her? When you are constantly trying to upgrade somebody who is attached to you, when the police officer comes to you, they come in their full official capacity. They don't need a training for you. That's the proper thing to see. When they come in, they also know better about your security than you. Not that you'll be using them to harass. You say, oh yeah, like the other senator who told his police officers to beat a young girl in a sex toy shop the other time. You know, a police officer's duty is provided by law. Their office, their attachment, these are serious office holders. They should carry themselves with some form of class and respect and dignity. It should not be possible for any Nigerian, anywhere, to look a police officer in the face and say, oh yeah, beat him, you know, wash plate. I can't understand that. So it must be something about how they carry themselves, and the IG must also look into the training.
Okay, well, let me try to speak to CSP Imo very soon, but let me take this call from Daffy. Good morning, are you there?
Yes.
You're live. Go ahead, please. Oh, Daphne. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
It's a bit muffled, but we're trying to hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I said it's unfortunate this incident happened to this police officer. I want to believe that for every police person that is attached outside, because they are underpaid, from my own view though, because they are underpaid, it's an extra cash for them. And when they do this job, they try to be like family with these people and not trying to bring in that officer uniform to that house or that environment. They want to make everybody feel comfortable with them. By so doing, others take them for granted. They take them for granted. I'm not in the force. I'm not even close to the force. They take them for granted. Now, I want to believe also that a human rights activist is somebody who has empathy and lack of discrimination for evil, as in they detest discrimination. By so doing, this woman has proven to us that, the professor has proven to us that she only preaches what she wants us to hear and not what she does.
Thank you, Daphne. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing this issue of the woman. I will be having the first PRO, Olumiyiwa Adejobi CSP, who will be speaking to us. I'm told he's online. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Friend of the house.
Okay, so I'm told he's yet to join us, but we wait to hear his thoughts on this report, because our understanding is that many of these police officers attached to VIPs have been recalled. That's what we thought. And what are the modalities of getting these orderlies away from certain people? And we need to find out what's the update on that. And also, many of these orderlies, we see them at parties. So let's even park this current story aside for a second. We see a lot of these orderlies at parties. We see them picking up money when they are spraying them. We see them following them, carrying bags. We see them running errands, picking kids to school, taking kids to the daycare. We see them doing all sorts of stuff. And the question is this the job description of police orderlies? What should be the scope of their work? And that's what we'd like to speak to the CSP. What have been your experiences with all this you see around following VIPs?
I see them everywhere. There's no party you go to you don't see. In fact, just have a level of small money. The next thing that is expected is that you find somebody that will be securing you now. Find someone that's the next advice you get from left, right, and center, you know. And it's because of how we have watered down the police system, how we have disrespect. And see, if I don't give you permission to come and disrespect my child, you cannot from your house. They're not born you will. Come and disrespect my child. The government has disrespected these people. People are now picking up on that to further disrespect them. After all, we can pay you.
Well, there are people that need VIPs, BC. For example, there are certain people. So, for example, you're bringing in experts from wherever the world, and you feel that, okay, they need to come into country and want them to feel secure, because some of them feel like, I know, me, this is my own experience, nobody just me. I was the owner of Trace. I would never forget this. He was going from, when I was in High TV, I was driving him from High TV office to our studio in Ikorodu. I was driving, and that was the day we had some strike. They were burning buses. The guy was calling his wife, I started giving her his account details, all with that, just in case I die, because they're blowing up buses around us. So those kind of people would need experts, at least police officers. So there are people that need VIPs.
No, so hold on. Why are they not looking to get private security? I don't think when you travel outside the country that the American police will be working as orderlies.
NYPD.
Or exactly.
NYPD securing you in New York.
Yes, be working as orderlies. We need to respect that system. They are there, that office, they are there to protect Nigerians, and that's their job description. Anybody who is looking for extra personal orderlies should go to private securities, and people should start making money, set up private security outfits, and face these VIPs. Nigerian police should be removed from this sort of nonsense.
And private security will not carry arms. So that's another issue.
They may
The
carry
thing
arms.
is, we have a security challenge in our country. We cannot...
Oh, I have to pause you for a second. I have a call and holding. Onazi, sorry for keeping you for so long. Good morning, are you there?
Hello.
Go ahead.
It's all right. Good morning, you ladies.
You're live.
Good morning.
My name is Onazi, speaking from Sangota, Ogun State.
Yes.
Okay, Sister Moraya, good morning.
Go ahead, sir. We can hear
on
you.
you ladies, of your view. Yes, Moraya can watch you, Tokwe, and the rest of you. The issue on ground, the issue people are talking about on the ground, actually, as a matter of fact, is bad. Because how can a police officer be maltreated the way that woman maltreated her? Although, but this is not the first time. So I just pray justice should be done to the professor so that other ones will learn. And secondly, Madam Murayo, I've been to your office several times to have a contact with any of you, but I was not allowed.
Really, it is well. Security is a challenge. I can say that I'm on TV, you know, and people, I don't feel safe, you know. And I would like the police to give me escorts, and I would get a police escort, and because I'm feeling I'm very important and I can afford one, by protecting me, hundreds of people don't have access to someone to protect them. And as long as we keep doing that, every Nigerian will hustle and do anything to make money. Because poverty is a sin.
It is.
Poverty can kill you. So we make money so that we can keep on creating this distance between ourselves and feeling oppressed by the world.
Distinction.
That distinction. So I know there's a security challenge. And I've said it here.
Learned since that. The poverty is a situation, I think.
No, that's the reality. Poverty is a situation and everybody can change it. But in Nigeria right now, if you are poor, people are, yes, it feels like this is not life. So what are the things that we need to work with? BC already said we should have private security handle all VIPs. You are very important. Your life is very important. Pay a professional.
But they can't carry arms.
Create
They're not authorized to carry arms.
We have gotten to that space. So what are we doing? I worked on election in 2015. Private people were carrying arms. People carry arms in this country now. It's official. It's unofficial.
Clean it up.
Legalize it and create a proper system.
Let's clean it up. They give a license to carry arms to some certain VIPs. We know one that is very close to the house that has a license. But we know that they had an objection to women getting that license. They can open it. Any VIP that feels VIP'd and his security is
a threat for him.
Please go and get your license, give it to the person, or get a license for your security detail.
Simple.
A private security detail. Create employment. We need people to get employed. And you know they're not well paid.
Please, can we also mention this thing? Why would we read in the papers that this is a rule and then it doesn't get implemented? We were all celebrating when the IG said that they were going to withdraw all escorts.
That's why we're waiting for the CSP to get on.
So we celebrate the news and then it's not implemented. And we now feel bad. When they now say something tomorrow, we will not believe them. They'll say, Nigerians don't believe when we say something. We are being skeptical. It's because several times you have said and you did not do.
Okay, let me take this call. Hussein has been calling. Good morning, Hussein. Are you there?
Good morning, Morayo. How are you?
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to the ladies there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Tokpa is still talking.
Go ahead, sir.
You are listening to the TV. It's delayed.
Good morning.
Stop listening to the TV, please. Listen to us. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to everybody there.
Good morning.
Mr. Hussein, you're listening to the TV. The TV is delayed.
I think
this year is almost 10 years.
You are getting tired of saying the same thing.
All right. I think we're going to just have to take a break. But I think do you have a few comments we can run off? Because it's...
Okay.
Criminal politicians weaponize poverty. Now they talk more. If this office is supposed to be protecting the Prof, but Prof can arrange a deal with office like this, please, who needs protection, Prof or the office?
Oladidi says, orderlies of 2 VIPs fought themselves at a party a few months ago. They shot in the air and killed an innocent man.
Ralph King says, drop of water turned to big ocean. I feel this female police officer would have been seeing some red flags in form of little abuses. How should a mere professor have access to police guards safe? He says, not be only Mbaise-born. Then the same IG withdraw orderlies from every Dick, Tom, and Harrietta.
Okay, we have to wrap up on this, but I think generally we've agreed that it is wrong. What the professor did was absolutely wrong and unjustifiable. We also agreed that the police officer carries himself in a way that they exude respect, and that respect is what they are treated, and this is how they are treated. Another argument has come up saying that many police officers that are attached to VIPs feel that they owe their allegiance to that VIP because he or she pays for their salaries in addition to whatever it is the government is paying, which is really, really small. So because of that, the VIPs paying their children's school fees, possibly paying their rent, so they feel totally obligated to serve and serve wholeheartedly, subjecting the essence of their uniform, which is the reality of the Nigerian story. Either way, it's the box to stop at the table of the police or the Inspector General of Police to redefine the roles of these VIP, these orderlies, and see how we can get back the image, the dignity of their role, such that they are respected no matter where they are apportioned or allocated to. That is all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we discuss our culture day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.